So this is the most out of touch thing that I have ever seen. Um, I really hate it when the more intelligent a person claims to be or an institution, they lack the ability to differentiate fact from fiction. They turn into children. Like children are the only ones which can come up to you and say that they have an imaginary friend and you play along, or they do not differentiate between make believe. Although, like, I think when I was at the age of 6 or 7, I knew that cartoons aren't real. Probably even before that, but for some reason, every now and then you find out that another institution, in this case the Red Cross, believes that video games are real. I mean, in this situation, they say that people play games set in conflict zones right from their couch. They're not operating drones. They're not in conflict zones. They're fictional. Especially if you play Call of Duty, you would know that almost entirely, especially the new Call of Duty, they're completely made up. They're not. I mean, maybe they're inspired a little bit from some actual conflicts, but when you play as a chica, right, like a female soldier carrying an MG42 on her back and she's climbing walls like fucking Spider-Man in World War II, I don't think that's actually realistic. But anyway, right, so they want the players, right, like, is this in Ukraine? Huh? I'm really curious. I should ask the Red Cross. So when they look at the video games, they also don't play those video games, and you'll see just how out of touch they are, because many of the things they want to implement are already fucking implemented. Apparently, according to them, armed conflicts are more prevalent than ever. Again, look how full of shit they are. We don't live in World War II era. Armed conflicts are not more prevalent than ever. I love the fact that you can just pull things out of your ass. In 2023, armed conflicts are less prevalent than they used to be. I mean, the world went to 2 world wars, you know? It's like, okay, fine. The organization says that the people suffering from their effects, this conflict is not a game. It's like, well, yeah, no one says it is, but like, if we were to consider people suffering every time we make fiction, we would never be able to make fiction. Like, for example, if you show a mugging, well, you can't show that anymore because there are people in real life who suffered from muggings, and we shouldn't have that. You know, like some people may got hospitalized from a mugging. We wouldn't be able to show car crashes. We wouldn't be able to show almost anything because, like, some people were affected by that. But no, you know, like, if you are a person affected by war, heaven forbid, like you're a veteran or something, the solution is for you not to play video games if it disturbs you. Like, the solution is for the person to assume the protections necessary from the things that are harmful to them, not for the entire fucking society to shape around themselves around the individual. It's not even pragmatic. Like, you're not going to be able to shape the entire society after every single individual and their needs. I mean, sometimes you can, but like most of the times it's unreasonable. Now, in this situation, if there's a video game about war, I mean, first of all, it's obvious. Like, you look at the box, it tells you what it's about. You see the trailer, and if you're a person that has been a war veteran and gets PTSD from that, then don't play the fucking game. Like, no one is forcing war veterans to play these games. So anyway, apparently war destroys lives and communities are devastated. You know what? Like, I am actually going to backpedal on this just a little bit. Maybe this is required for Americans because I saw them treating the war in Ukraine like it's a football match, especially on Twitter, right? Like, it is possible that maybe this is needed. Like, some Americans do not understand just how bad war is. On Twitter, again, I have seen certain blue check marks that do treat the war as if it's a football match, and it was a little bit disturbing. But moving on. So they want first-person shooters to be played based on real rules of war. All right, let's see what they are. You know, like maybe it's a good thing. No thirsting. So when an enemy is down and can't respond, you can't keep shooting at them. Based on the Convention of the Geneva Article, prisoners of war must at all times be protected. You do realize that in video games, when someone is down, they're down, like they're dead. They do not interact, and people don't shoot at them because there's no point, right? Like it's not like in real life that you can injure someone in Call of Duty and they're still down. No. Like in Call of Duty, if they're down, that's it. They're out of the game. Like, shooting at it makes no point. They're not moving anymore, right? Okay. This is the one where I can tell they haven't played even the fucking game. No targeting non-violent NPCs. Bots that don't fire unprovoked are considered civilians, and you can't target or harm them. The civilian population, as such, as well as individual civilians, shall not be the object of attack, acts or threats or violence, the primary purpose of which to spread terror among civilian population, are prohibited. Unless, and for such time, they take a direct part in hostilities. This is already in the fucking game. Like almost any Call of Duty, besides one of them. But every other Call of Duty, if you shoot civilians, you get a game over screen. They haven't even played the fucking games. There is one exception, of course, the no Russian mission. But that is because you're part of a terrorist. Like the game is trying to portray that you are the bad guy. It's not trying to portray that you're a soldier anymore, right? So within that mind frame, it works. Like you should be able to portray villains. But other than that, like every other game, like even Call of Duty in World War II or stuff, if you're shooting a NPC, a non-violent NPC, it's just game over. You get the game over screen, you have to restart. There is another exception. I believe when you're raiding a house, like there is a scene where a civilian just comes in front of you all of a sudden. And the whole idea is to see how you're reacting, and if you're reacting and you're shooting, you get to feel really bad. But like again, that's for the game to create an emotional investment. It's entertainment, right? Like it's trying to portray emotion out of the player. And the fact that you just killed someone unarmed does spark the emotional reaction that the developer requires. But it's not something that's encouraged. Like it doesn't say that is a good thing. Quite the opposite. No targeting civilian buildings. In any given game map, house, schools, or hospitals are considered safe zones that you cannot harm. When fighting in these spaces, you must do everything you can to avoid damage. It's hilarious that they think that Call of Duty has environmental damage. Like, obviously, you would want the game to be more realistic and have environmental damage. But Call of Duty is not one of them, so no, you can't take down hospitals in Call of Duty. You just can't. Like, the game engine does not allow it. The physics aren't there. Use medkits on everyone. If you have an unused medkit that works on others, you must give it to those in need. What the fuck are you talking about? There is no medkit in Call of Duty. Like, you just hide behind the corner, and your health regenerates like a fucking Wolverine. Like, this is why these people are insane. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's a video game. It's not real life. You don't use medkits like in real life. And even if you do, right? Immediately the person is healed. Like you don't like manage to take out limbs in Call of Duty. People don't crawl on the ground. It's not actual war. It's a video game. Sure, like there are a couple of exceptions. I think like the recent Call of Duty, the one that's set in World War I or World War II, I forgot which one. Like they have medkits, right? And the previous versions have as well. But the newest versions don't. You hide behind the wall, you regenerate. Wow, so realistic, right? It's like a fucking combat zone, isn't it, Red Cross? Holy shit. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.